Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on our series of diving deep into Avatar: The Last Airbender, digging into it, seeing what meanings we can pull out of it. I've really been enjoying the journey and I hope you guys are too. If you guys feel called to, please subscribe, follow, like, show some love, and share this with those who would also vibe with this and those who could also pick up some of the wisdom we're finding here on the show. So let's get into it. How the Avatar is a metaphor for you, me, and all humans in between. Before we do, just make sure you guys stick around till the end for some bonus fun facts the creators added in the show around Avatar Aang that extended further on into Korra. In Nickelodeon's show Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Avatar is sort of like the chosen one in a world where people can bend and control individual elements, while the Avatar has the ability to master bending of all four elements. This sort of power, granted lifetime after lifetime to the Avatar's reincarnations, comes with great power and responsibility. The Avatar is called on in every lifetime to restore and maintain balance into the world and be a creator of peace. Someone with such a strong destiny, showing signs of superhuman strength, it makes sense why it's so easy for many of us to just see the Avatar as this unrelatable, unobtainable superhero, which is why I took it upon myself to make this video. Because when I was re-binging this show, since it's one of my favorites, I felt the exact opposite and found so many more similarities between me and Aang than differences. I began to realize that the concept of an avatar was more of an intentional setup by the creators to awaken people like me, you, and everyone else in between to the power of who we truly are, an inner power most certainly forgotten by most. We have this light in ourselves that we simply haven't yet been awakened to due to the way we were raised and taught to see life. In the process of creating the Avatar, I believe that the creators sowed a seed in our collective subconsciousness to show us that we too, just as much as Aang, have a divine purpose fueled by our own spark just as much as any avatar. And the way they did this, it was done so beautifully because of who they made Aang to be. Aang was never impressionable as a strong, masculine, macho savior, but instead portrayed as this soft, nurturing little boy trying to live a normal life like me and you. In the beginning especially, Aang constantly tries to deny his destiny in refusal to confront his responsibilities and the path laid out for him. Being a monk, he took vows of humility and a true commitment to a humble life, and instead gets set forward on this path full of an extroverted, almost prestigious destiny. Once this notion of him being a chosen one is planted in his head, he completely rejects it and tries to run away from it because he can't handle the idea of so much responsibility. And more than that, he couldn't even tolerate seeing how differently he was being treated because of it. Now, all of a sudden, this idea that he was different pushed his peers to stop hanging out with him before his other abilities of mastering the other elements are even actualized, which are the very things that make him an avatar. It was simply just the idea of him being different that was enough for people to start treating him differently. So seeing Aang being raised to value the simple joys of humanity, to having that taken away, it makes complete sense as to why he'd want to run away in the first place. And this is what can oftentimes happen to us. According to New Age spirituality, our souls come to this earth with a specific purpose and a path to follow so that we may live out that purpose. Our souls come here to learn specific lessons that are granted to us so that we can evolve and share our gifts with the world. And each of us have tailored gifts that only we ourselves can access and share in the way that we do, and touch others in a completely unique way. And the funny thing is, this isn't a foreign concept when we're young. So many of us are told, you can do anything, you're so special, you're so smart, you're the best. And this is actually the beginning where we conceptualize that we are meant for so much more in life. And that idea slowly dies down as we get older. And the fact that this becomes one of our first teachings in life is not a mistake at all, but rather just a truth that we lose remembrance of. We develop blockages between us and our inner selves, and once we're aware of these blocks, we develop blockages between us and our inner selves. And once we are aware of these blocks, our job then becomes to deteriorate them so that we can access our purpose. And once we do, We awaken to our gifts that can be applied to the world, done in our own unique format. And this is one of the fundamentals in every single character in Avatar. Katara, Sokka, Zuko, Toph, all of their destinies become intertwined with Aang's. And by them committing to that search for it, it evolves in more powerful ways than we originally think possible for ourselves. New Age spirituality also talks about the idea of reincarnation. Like the Avatar, we too have been here thousands of times before, in thousands of different lifetimes, with thousands of lessons tied by one underlying purpose. We see this in the beginning of the series when Aang goes to the Southern Air Temple and goes into a giant room filled with hundreds, if not thousands, of his past reincarnations. When Aang goes into the Avatar state later on in that episode, we see all the other statues glow in unison, showing the inseparable experience the Avatar's soul experiences in connection with all of its lives. According to New Age teachings, our souls have experienced different paths and has collected all of those moments, the good, the bad, the ugly, to learn lessons that your soul has signed up for. And just like how everything lines with the universal law of free will in the world of Avatar, so does our world. And oftentimes our souls are said to make contracts long before we're even born to partake in certain lessons and events in our life. And Aang reflects our own frustrations when we don't want to participate in our destiny. And it wasn't until Aang accepted the destiny already chosen for him that he was able to open up. Likewise, within us, sometimes we can reject our destinies and turn our backs on the path that can aid our souls. And this blocks us from true growth. Once Aang went into a place of inner acceptance, he blossoms into an influential healer. And Aang shows us the consequences of when we run away from our truth. When we run into denial of our truth, we unintentionally create harm within ourselves and those around us, because we close ourselves off from our own inner power, and in turn we shut our gift and true power out from the world. Once you shut out your destiny, the world can no longer benefit from you. Your inner world along with the outer world go out of balance. Imagine if Zuko truly turned his back on his true destiny and never snapped back into acceptance that he was supposed to be the good guy and work with Aang and teach the Avatar firebending. The world would have ended, and Aang would have never been able to restore balance and bring peace. The Fire Nation would have destroyed everything, and there would be no world left to conquer. This show plays as a reminder that we must have the openness to receive our destiny and the humility to put our ego aside in order to accept it. It's hard for us to admit who we are and own that, but the alternative isn't a great escape mechanism either. We also get a glimpse of another New Age teaching that overlaps in the show. In the show, the third book more specifically, Aang runs away in shame and gets caught in some heavy waves during a storm. And Roku appears to him. And when Roku appears to him, we are expecting the same thing that we've seen throughout the entire series, where Roku helps Aang get out of his mental blockages and helps him overcome his fears and come from a wiser place. But instead, we see Roku meeting Aang with the same amount of shame and guilt over his past self. And this is something that we completely were not expecting as the audience. To see Roku equally regret his past and what he's done and his actions and the very things it manifested in the world around him, creating war. And Roku says to Aang himself that he believes that Aang's destiny is to redeem Roku's mistake that he started. And this shows us that our traumas from past lives accumulate when left unhealed and have a direct relation with the lives we live now. And this is to show that spirit and energy have much stronger memory than the human brain. And Ko is also a character who portrays this. When Aang visits Ko, Ko confronts him with a grudge of how Aang, many years before, in a past life, tried slaying Ko because Ko stole the face of a woman that his past life loved. And Aang has no remembrance of this. And we don't even meet the Avatar who did this until much later. So everything that happens to us in our past lives gets energetically stored and remembered in our soul, which then expresses itself in our life today. Science has caught up with this idea in the discovery of generational trauma getting passed down genetically. Just like the Avatar, we are also born with a preference towards certain characteristics that are portrayed by certain elements. And this can also be better understood through astrology. Leos, Aries, and Sagittarius being born under fire signs, Taurus, Cap, and Virgo being earth signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius being air, and Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio as the water signs. But just as equally important, we must learn how to value the other elements so that we may embody all traits and become balanced as human beings, so that we may become sustainably rooted in balance and harmony. And it is in the process of pursuing this nature and harmony on a soul level that we effortlessly heal ourselves and the things around us. And Uncle Iroh is the one who shows us the benefits that are open to us once we become open and humble enough to look inside different elements and see what we can learn to diversify our perspective on life and grow stronger as individuals. And it's in the process of pursuing this nature and harmony on a soul level that we effortlessly heal ourselves and the things around us. Like Aang, we come here to heal what has been broken before us. What happened in the past is not our responsibility, but it is our responsibility to correct the wrongdoings, heal nature, and heal the collective, which is imperative for giving hope. Once we restore hope and plant a seed for the possibility of the future to even be hopeful and embody that change, the earth and spirit world heals, showing once again the codependent nature of earth and spirit. We just as much have that power to restore faith and hope as the Avatar does. We have the responsibility to plant seeds of change so that we can manifest a better world for ourselves. We are the bridge between the spirit world and the earth plane, just like Aang. And when we tap into that knowing, we become the peacemaker that ties both worlds into a harmonious blend, where both strengthen each other and uplift their experience. The art of bending as a whole is a practice that shows how powerful patience, discipline, and focus goes, especially in the long run. We see people like Katara and Aang being super beginner-minded and skilled benders with no exact grasp of their power and the amount that they have to create in their own environment. And through the series, we see that the more confident they become, the more focus that they can put their energy towards, and the more they see how they affect their environment, the more powerful they are able to become, the more elements they can bend, the stronger the force, the bigger the quantity. And this is such an important aspect to show us that our mind can be so strong if we let it, and if we become disciplined enough to stay focused on the positive, to stay focused on what will help us grow and evolve instead of what our past experiences are that block us right now in the moment, and learning how to step that aside and tap into your true potential so that all of your power and forces can just unleash at your own will. How you can manifest any type of life that you let if you have the right mental platform to build that on. And all of this is to say the most important aspect of being the Avatar, which is being yourself, holding your truth no matter what. Aang is the one in the end who shaped his own destiny. When confronted with the idea to kill the Fire Lord, Aang feels such resistance against his nature and everything he's learned. And Aang understood subconsciously that if he were to go against his gut and act on what others spoke of, the world still would have been out of balance, because things wouldn't have been done correctly. And Aang would have acted so much against his own self that it couldn't even be an option. So for Aang to choose alignment with his nature, he in hand healed his past lives and helped his own spirit evolve and redefine what has been possible. And so even with a powerful destiny that we are given, we are never bounded by fate. We create it for ourselves. This is another point that Kabbalistic astrology points out, that the stars may have their own story to tell about our destinies, but we can use that as a tool to form our own destiny and shape it for ourselves. We create our own meaning out of life and form new lessons and new standards for ourselves. We don't have to be shaped by the world, but rather the world is shaped by us. And thank you guys so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, share to all those Avatar lovers out there that you know of. Thank you for hearing my message. I hope that it helped you in any way, and as much as it's been helping me with my life. And I'll see you guys next time.